Welcome back to DeepVisus, where vision meets depth. In today's episode, we're diving into the fascinating world of neural field models and their application to neuroscience. This episode, titled PDE Methods for Two-Dimensional Neural Fields, is sourced from Chapter 5 of the book Neural Fields, Theory and Applications by Carlo R. Laing. Now, have you ever wondered how we can predict complex patterns of activity in the brain, like the oscillations we see in EEG rhythms or the formation of visual hallucinations? Specifically, how can we model neural activity across large areas of the brain, beyond the level of individual neurons? Well, we're going to explore the answer to this question in today's review, focusing on how partial differential equations, PDEs, can provide insight into these neural patterns. So, what exactly are we looking at in this review? In today's review, we'll break down a key concept from neural field theory and its applications, which is the transformation of neural field models into PDEs. These equations help us understand the large-scale dynamics of neural activity, particularly when studying phenomena like memory, visual processing, and even brainwave patterns. Neural field models started gaining attention back in the 1970s. At their core, they describe the activity of neurons spread out over a large region, with connections between them influencing the firing rates and patterns. These models typically rely on an integral equation, where the activity at any point depends on the activity of neurons at neighboring points. But how do we make sense of this? How do we go from an integral equation to a more manageable mathematical form, like a PDE? Well, the answer lies in using Fourier transforms, an incredibly powerful mathematical tool. By converting these integral equations into PDEs, we can simplify our analysis and gain better insights into the stability and behavior of neural activity patterns. Let's break this down. A neural field model can be represented by an equation where the activity u, x, t, u, x, t, at a point xx and time tt is influenced by the activity at neighboring points, weighted by a coupling function w, x, w, x. This coupling function dictates how neurons at a distance xx affect each other. For example, the function could describe a Mexican hat shape, where neurons have a strong influence on their nearby neighbors, but this influence weakens with distance. This model, however, has a non-local interaction, meaning the influence of one neuron on another depends on the distance between them. The challenge is to make this model more solvable by converting the integral equation into a PDE. Using Fourier transforms, we can express the convolution, the integral term, as a product in the frequency domain. This helps us derive a differential equation that governs the dynamics of neural activity, making the problem easier to handle both analytically and numerically. In Chapter 5 of the book, the author shows how this technique works not just in one dimension, but in two dimensions as well. And this is where things get interesting. In two-dimensional neural field models, patterns like bumps and rings of activity emerge. These spatially localized solutions are key to understanding how neural patterns form and evolve over large regions of the brain. The chapter also dives into how these patterns can become unstable, leading to the creation of more complex structures. For instance, when rotational symmetry is broken, we can observe the formation of spiral waves, which are of great interest because they reflect how neural activity can propagate across the brain. The idea of spiral waves ties into phenomena like the rotation of patterns in neural networks, which can be studied to understand more about brain activity, including things like visual perception and rhythm generation. So, what did we learn from this review? By applying PDE methods to neural field models, we can explore and predict the dynamics of large-scale neural activity. These methods help us not only understand localized patterns like bumps and rings, but also more complex structures like spiral waves, which are fundamental in understanding brain processes like oscillations and possibly even some forms of visual hallucinations. In short, PDE methods allow us to analyze the stability of neural patterns, making them a powerful tool for brain research. In today's episode, we answered our key question: how can PDEs help us understand the large-scale dynamics of neural activity? By transforming integral models of neural fields into differential equations, we gain insights into both simple and complex brain patterns. The techniques we've discussed open the door to deeper explorations of how patterns of brain activity form, evolve, and sometimes even become unstable. Before we wrap up today's episode, let me leave you with a question to think about. How might these mathematical techniques be applied to study diseases or conditions that affect brain patterns, such as epilepsy or neurodegenerative diseases? Stay tuned, because in upcoming episodes, we'll explore how neural field models and PDE analysis could help us unlock new insights into the brain's mysterious workings. Thanks for tuning into this episode of DeepVisus. Stay curious and join us next time as we continue to explore the depths where vision and science converge.